Before I started this channel, I wrote a very short essay, a sort of manifesto of what I'm doing here, what we're all doing, hopefully. So I'm going to read it to you now. Here we go. Learning philosophy, the basics. We are concerned here with learning philosophy. This immediately raises a bunch of questions, which is to be expected. Philosophy is in many ways the art of raising questions, exploring them, comparing them, perhaps even answering them. Or so we hope. We do this annoyingly by questioning everything, including the questions themselves. Questions? What questions? Why? How? We're barely 50 words into our project and everything is already filled with problems. This is not a bug, it's a feature. This is philosophy as a practice. Philosophers have the reputation of raising pointless questions and answering them in a way that is needlessly hard to understand. That charge was levied against them even at the very beginning, at the time of the Greeks. In all fairness, this does happen. It is also true that many philosophers write in common language that is very easy to understand, or so we think. Is one better than the other? Can every worthy philosophical question be formulated and answered in an easy to understand fashion? Maybe. We may answer that we don't know yet. We're learning philosophy after all. We're not claiming to be full-fledged masters. Or perhaps some ideas are worthy, but hard to formulate in simple, everyday terms. Or perhaps some, if not all, of these so-called lovers of wisdom are full of hot air. Or perhaps what seems impossible to understand only appears that way to me because the explanation is using a frame of reference, a jargon, a tradition, technical terms that I don't have the key to. It is possible to make something relatively straightforward appear incomprehensible through jargon. This is indeed a great way to bamboozle people. But crucially, sometimes there is no other way to adequately explain an idea than to rely on esoteric minutiae. If you're trying to explain how to beat the mid-level boss on the third lava world in Mario 64, you have to get more specific than there's an Italian plumber who jumps around and he hates getting burned. For many, understanding how to defeat a pixelated lizard in a 30-year-old game is completely worthless. But if your Luddite brother is calling you at 10 p.m. and immediately blurts out the question with panic in his voice as you hear your niece frantically crying in the background, then that knowledge suddenly becomes quite important. Which means your brother will almost certainly have to learn some jargon. But here's the twist. Just because your brother thinks you know that game doesn't mean it's true. How can he tell? That's quite a problem. Let's put it back in terms of our main topic. We are concerned with philosophy. But at this stage of our discussion, we don't even know what we mean by that word. All we have is a bunch of questions. We mentioned 3 at the beginning. There are countless more, but we will end today with those 3, which are more than enough to get us started. They will be our philosophical questions today. So, first, what is a philosophical question? Is or can any question be considered philosophical? If not, why? Is it the topic? Is it perhaps the way the question is asked? The way it is answered? We can see that the question is itself based on a range of unanswered other questions. The ground seems stable enough at first, but when we poke at it, all we seem to find are further doubts and uncertainties. Does this mean there is no certainty to be found? We can't say that yet. We started with the question, but we don't know what it means or why it even may matter. This may feel frustrating, but it is a hidden treasure. We felt certainty, but it was unwarranted. We thought we knew something, but we don't. Well, at least now we know that we don't know. Thanks, Socrates. Second, why do we do this to ourselves? Because we sense this questioning inside us, and we think philosophy may hold at least some of the answers. Perhaps there is suffering, a sense that something is not right in the world, in us, or both. Perhaps there is simply a calling, a fascination. We feel there is something important in philosophy for us. We're just not sure what it is yet. Either way, vague as it is, we have again the beginning of an answer, and this one is much more solid. We are concerned with learning philosophy because it is a personal desire, a personal choice, driven by a personal need. Our interest in philosophy arises from a sense of urgency. We may not know why yet, but philosophy matters to us. This is the why. Third, how? What is the practice that will shape our interest in learning philosophy? Well, there are many possible approaches. The one I am presenting here will be quite simply to read the texts, mostly chronologically, a lot of texts. I am not a philosophy professor or even a graduate student. I studied in literature, and that was years ago. I have spent much of those years trying to approach the study of philosophy without making much headway. At the end of 2024, I concluded that the best way forward was to simply bite the bullet and read the damned texts. I began this in early 2025. After building a reading list, I will explain another day. I call it, not very creatively, the corpus. One guiding idea is that philosophy builds upon itself. Philosophers read those that came before them, critique them, reply to them, in effect dialogue with them. This is what makes so much of it hard to understand. These authors are referencing other works implicitly and explicitly, and you need to know something of those works to get what any given philosopher is going on about, or even to understand the words they're using. Articles, videos, classes, all can help further that foundational understanding, but at the end of the day, the only way to really start engaging with a philosophical text is to read it. More than once, in all likelihood. Since much of the difficulty comes from references to earlier works, our method will be to start from the beginning. Is there such a thing? While it's always possible to argue otherwise, it is generally accepted that what we call philosophy comes from ancient Greece. It's where the word comes from, after all, as well as the core foundational texts of the tradition, pre-Socratics, Plato, Aristotle, and so forth. So that's where we'll start, the Greeks. Then we'll move on from there. We will read the texts. We will think about them, not only their content, their conclusions, but their methodology. This is crucial. We will learn philosophy not just as content, as words on a page, but as a living practice. We might make mistakes. We may say stupid things along the way. In fact, we are certain to. That is okay. That is our project. We are learning philosophy. There you go. So feeling some static in my headphones, so time to call it a day. I have a Substack. By this time, you should probably be able to read it. It's probably on the Substack. I think for now, everything is free. I also have a Patreon. If you want to support what I do, it's greatly appreciated, like really a lot. Most of it is about science fiction movies right now, so don't be surprised. A lot of what I do is actually combining science fiction and philosophy. There's a whole idea behind that. But for now, do take care. If you do support my work, you're the best. I love you. And either if you don't, I still love you. So go read the damn text. And yeah, see you soon. Take care.